Hello everyone, I hope you had a great day. Today we are looking at some new malicious compliance stories. I hope you enjoy them. If you like the video, don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps the channel to grow. And if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe for more content. And now, let's start with the first story, shall we? The first story is called Track My Times. Earlier this summer, I temporarily took a job as a roofing salesperson for a construction company. The job description said I was managing a book of insurance agents and realtors, working referrals. In the interview, the boss was adamant that there was no door knocking, just working relationships and referrals. I took the job and came to learn about a week into my hire that they expected over 5 hours a day of door knocking. I could have quit right away, but I figured I would give it a go for a bit and just see how things went. The job was on full commission, with a small weekly vehicle allowance, and I wasn't responsible for working a regular schedule. But eventually, my boss started expecting everyone to work a regular schedule and report at least 40 hours on timesheets. I fought with him about it, because as a non-hourly or non-salary employee, there was nothing to report. I got paid only for the work I brought the company. Whether I worked 80 or 5 hours, the pay was the same and there was no contractual obligation to my time. He got upset that I didn't just give in, so he told me that because I hadn't filled out a time card, they wouldn't give me my weekly vehicle allowance. It's not a huge amount of money, but it was a matter of principle. I don't get paid for time worked, so why do they need to know my hours? My best friend is a labor attorney, and I asked him what I could do. He said I should just threaten to call the Department of Labor for withholding wages. So I told my boss that I would call the Department of Labor. At this point, I was already in the process of getting hired for a job I really wanted. So I was planning on quitting soon anyway, so I figured they had it coming for all the lies and deceitful nature of literally everything. They ended up giving me the allowance. But then, later that day, HR rolled out a policy that said that they are now paying out the allowance based on hours logged on timesheets. It was the expectation that we would log 40 hours. And if you don't meet 40 hours, they will deduct a prorated amount from the vehicle allowance. The policy also said it was retroactive for the previous week. So I didn't get my allowance for that week's pay, as I continued to not log anything. I was a little mad about it, so here's the malicious compliance. That week, our boss made us work about 90 hours, commuting several hours a day each way to a town he wanted us to get some work. I went into the timesheet and logged 90 hours for the week. When the pay came that week, I only got the regular allowance for 40 hours. I asked my boss where the rest was, and he said it was a flat rate. So I cited the new policy and said he owed me based on the hours worked, and I would be calling the Department of Labor if I didn't get it. They ended up giving me the allowance based on 90 hours. Later that week, HR emailed the department, saying full commission people are exempt from logging hours and would be receiving the flat pay. I win. And I ended up quitting a short time later, followed by pretty much the whole sales staff. The next story is called Prank Gone Wrong. Many years ago, my mom was visiting her mom, my grandma, in Texas. Grandma had recently remarried, and his family was a very typical southern family. They went out to a Chinese restaurant, and my grandma's sister-in-law was insisting that my mom tries out the delicious mustard. Yup, Chinese hot mustard at its peak of spiciness. What they didn't realize is that my mom ate jalapenos as a snack. She put hot sauce on everything. She never met a pepper that she didn't like. I'm pretty sure this is from a lifetime of smoking that destroyed her taste buds. Mom knows exactly what Chinese mustard is and that they are trying to pull one over on her. So Mom says, "Oh, that looks delicious." And she scoops up a giant heaping tablespoon, pretty much the entire container, and pops it in her mouth. She swallows it. "That's delicious. Is there any more?" She was blinking back tears, because now her sinuses are on fire. She said the look on their faces was totally worth it, and my grandma was trying not to laugh the entire time. They never tried to prank her again. The third story is called Day Shift versus Night Shift. I'm a night shift supervisor, a position unique to this company, in a nursing home. My shift is 6 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. and there's always an issue between the day shift and night shift. Always. I've been doing my absolute best to have the day shift and ease some of the tension between the two shifts. A couple of weeks ago, we were short-staffed. Like 1 aide on each of our 4 halls and 2 nurses between 4 halls short-staffed. I told my staff to do the best they can. The important thing is having these residents up for breakfast. If you can do vitals, great. If not, oh well, the day shift can do them. The day shift rolls in, and one of the day shift assistants says to me, "Everybody better be up, since vitals aren't done." I whipped around and told her in a very stern tone, there were only 4 of us last night. Next time we are that short, are you willing to come in at 4 AM to help? She was shocked. The day shift supervisor arrives, and this is where my great idea enters my brain. I can't help but cackle like an evil witch inside as I see her walk in and set down her stuff. I patiently wait until she turns to me and says, "How was your night?" We are at the nurse's station, and I tell her there were only 4 of us last night. So I told them to focus on getting residents up for breakfast. "Okay, thank you. We can do the vitals, that's no problem. Also, it's against company policy to steal time, to be on the clock when you're not working." "Yes, but everyone knows that." "The next time I hear day shift come in here and accuse night shift of not doing anything, I'm sending night shift home for stealing time." Now, I've been at this facility for 6 years, and 5 of those years were spent on the dementia unit. I have a reputation of being thorough and using company policy to my advantage. They knew I wasn't kidding, and I guess word spread because it was the last time I've ever heard day shift say anything like that. The following night I came in, I let the night shift know to tell me if they ever make that claim again, so I can send everyone home. If they are not busy, they don't need to be here. The next story is called "Guess I Will Not Shop There Again." A few days back, I bought a new headset. This worldwide situation made me play much more video games than usual, and over the time I got a headache from my old and chunky headphones. The dude selling it recommended a lightly built Bluetooth thing. It looked okay, but I wasn't sure about it. The dude told me not to worry, and to make sure that I have fully comprehensive insurance to be able to return it under any circumstances. The headset was a piece of garbage. It sounded like speaking through a running fan, and only bass frequencies came through. So I went back to the store to have it exchanged or my money back. Since it was an in-ear piece, I thoroughly cleaned and disinfected it before leaving the house, although I only used it for about 30 disappointing minutes. I went up to the customer service desk. There I was greeted by a very rude "What's the problem?" from a woman. I stated how I think the item is broken, but I'm not sure since the quality was garbage from the first use on. So I want to return it, get my money back, or browse for another product. She refused to take it back for hygiene reasons and laughed at me when I showed her the comprehensive insurance slip. The good thing is, comprehensive insurance covers self-inflicted damage. So I smashed the basically brand new thing to pieces and got my money back from a very shocked looking service lady. I don't think I'll shop there again. The last story is called "Out of Respect." For a while, when I was a kid and eventually a teenager, I lived in a small town near nothing. The heart and soul of this town was a local library, run by an amazing lady named Hannah. Hannah understood the town was rural and poor and did everything in her power to cater to the town residents. There was no after-school program for the elementary school. So Hannah opened the doors of the library even though the building was incredibly small. The nearest movie theater was miles on miles away. This took place when Netflix was only a DVD service and expensive for this town. So Hannah made sure the library had a huge selection of VHSs and DVDs. Hannah would listen to us avid readers when we wanted to read a particular book and buy it. If the book was part of a series, she bought the whole series. Hannah also started a summer program that would have rivaled the free summer programs of any large town. And she did so many more things. Unfortunately, Hannah's mom got sick. So she had to move back halfway across the country. And so the library board hired a woman named Ruth Derrier. The board believed because Mrs. Derrier was from a town or two away, she would be a good fit for our community. Mrs. Derrier was not a good fit for the library, in fact. She decided to purge all of the books and items from the library she deemed impure. This included The Lord of the Rings, the whole manga section, non-religious self-help books, and the majority of the media collection. She also reinstated library fines up to and including the fines that should have been collected years prior. Hannah never cared about that. She also demanded that everyone under the age of 18 call her Mrs. Daria, not Ruth, because of respect. Though these were only a few things Mrs. Daria did. To say the library fell apart quickly after she took charge would be a massive understatement. I loved the library and felt personally attacked. So I started a campaign to save the library. I begged, pleaded, and complained to my mother until she cracked and joined the library board. She even eventually became the library board president. My mom was able to put a stop to Mrs. Daria's purging. I learned how to operate the library's very poor website to make interlibrary loans and taught other people so we could read whole series and so on. Mrs. Daria knew what I was doing and hated me for it, but I continued on. The only thing that she could hold over me by the end was that I was under 18. My mom had taught me respect, so I referred to her as Mrs. Daria. However, on my 18th birthday, a Saturday, I woke up early, got dressed, grabbed the books I needed to return, and walked happily to the library. I waited in line as Mrs. Daria berated a few elementary school kids for returning books late. She also revoked a little old lady's right to use the library computers because she asked too many questions. When it was finally my turn at the counter, I said loudly and clearly, "Good morning, Ruth." All the color drained from her face, and then it got extraordinarily red. So before she could try and berate me, the next words out of my mouth were, "It's my 18th birthday today." As nuisance stories do in small towns, what I had done got around quickly. It soon became a habit of everyone turning 18 to traipse into the library at some point that day and say hello to Ruth. The tradition carried on even after I moved away, until Ruth quit several years later for reasons I don't know. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel for more content. Let me know what you think about the stories in the comment section below. Have a great day. Bye bye.